Hey y'all, I'm back at Calvary Cemetery, and once again in 1899, Calvary Cemetery was called the Catholic Cemetery. And today I have just a couple, I have two short stories for you. One of John P. Malden, and it was in June 1899. He had been drinking for a couple of days and was causing a lot of trouble at home. When he became offended with his 7-year-old son and was switching him. The boy's yells alerted the neighbor, who called the police and asked for an officer to be sent out to Malden's house because he was beating his son to death. A young man named Yule had been living at the Maldens for some time. Mr. Yule interfered in the whipping of the boy. Malden pushed him away, and Yule tried to get the boy again when Malden struck him. Yule pulled his pistol and fired 2 shots and then left the house. There was a rumor that John Malden was armed and pulled his gun on Yule. Malden's brother said that his brother didn't own a pistol. So this is Barbara's opinion on this situation. He had been drinking for a couple of days, and the neighbor was afraid that he was going to kill his son, because when he calls the police, the neighbor says, the neighbor said, he's beating his son to death. So he's drinking for 2 days, he's causing trouble at home, and then the neighbor's afraid he's going to beat the son to death, the boy to death, and then a young man that had been living there tries to protect the child and get him away from his dad that's beating him. When Malden gets angry, shoves Yule, the young man, and then the second time the young man tries to get the boy away from him, he strikes him, and then the young man pulls a gun, shoots Malden. The young man says that Malden pulled a gun on him first. Malden's brother says his brother his brother didn't even own a gun. So I don't know. It sounds like to me John Malden possibly was guilty of this. I mean, he's drinking and he has already been causing trouble at home, and the neighbor's afraid he's going to kill the boy when the neighbor calls for the police. So I think that probably Yule was right in trying to defend the boy, and shooting Malden may have been the only way to protect the boy, keep the boy from being beat to death by his dad. So I think, in my opinion, Yule did the right thing. I mean, what any of us would do. We would have to protect this kid at all cost. We would. And so have the camera there on the Malden plot, the family plot, and I'll go over and show you Malden's grave, John Malden. Now the dad is also John, but it's John B. Malden, and so the family members are all in here with him. And this one would be John Paul Malden. He was born in 1870 and died in 1899. So he was 29 years old, and evidently had a temper, and he was a heavy drinker. And these are some of his family members. This is a brother, so maybe this is the one that defended him. William Malden, born in 1877. Well, yeah, 1877. Well, he only would have been about 20 years old, I guess, somewhere around there. Here's another one. It's probably a wife. Oh, no, this would have been one of the Malden girls, and that's her married name. So this would have been a sister. And probably the brother-in-law. This is a very nice, very nice. At rest, Malden, at rest. John B. Malden, this is his dad. Born 1841, died 1898. And so my second story is of a, I think it's going to be a cousin. Her name is Anna. And she doesn't have a stone, but the cemetery record says that she is buried right here next to Elizabeth Malden. And her grave is right here. She's right here beside it. And I believe she died in 1895. I'll get the story for you just a second. So Jacob Malden, 1838 to 1906. That might have been, maybe it was her dad. Lizzie, born and died in 1874, so that's a baby. And then Johnny, 1870, another one, another baby. Both of them 1876 to 1876, so they're babies. And then, oh, that's not even a Malden. Okay, so right here's these Maldens, and then right there is John Malden's family plot. So I think that these are cousins. I think that these right here are cousins. And Annie, or Anna Malden, is buried right here. And I will go over and get her story. Just a short little story for you. Let me set this back up and I will just read it to you, but it's not very long. Let's see. Anna Malden, born in 1871, died 1895. She was 24 years old. She's the daughter of George Malden. Now, George Malden was the hangman for Judge Parker. He's the guy that did the hangings. He's the one that did the awful deed. Well, you know, depends on how you feel about that. She had a brief affair with Frank Carver in Fort Smith. She followed him to the Indian Territory, which now is called Muskogee, Oklahoma, where she found out that he was already married to an Indian woman. They had an argument, and somehow she ended up shot in the back. In Muskogee, her wounds were so severe, they read her last rites because they didn't think she was going to make it. And I'm sure they had to bring her back in a wagon, which had to be brutal. And they bring her back to Fort Smith to her family, and she lives for 2 months. 2 months before she dies at the age of 24. Frank Carver was convicted of murder, but it was overturned a year later in the Supreme Court. He had said that he was drunk and the shooting was an accident. Her dad, which is George Malden, which was very well known in this town, he was the hangman for Judge Parker. He left town immediately. He didn't even want to have anything to do with Fort Smith anymore after that. He's not even buried in this cemetery with the rest of the Maldens. So he was very upset over that. But anyway, looks like to me, because of this monument, this family plot, and that massive tombstone, that the Maldens were a pretty prominent family here in Fort Smith. That's very nice. That is very nice for 1898. This whole little area here. But this is the John Malden family. And I believe, I mean, you just have to look it up. I believe John B. Malden and George Malden are brothers. And that would make John P. Malden, the grocer, he owned a grocery store here in town. That would make him he's the one that was beating his son. That would make him cousins to, oh, do you hear the bells? The church bells? I hope you can hear them. They're beautiful. Anyway, very peaceful and beautiful to hear those while you're here in the cemetery. To me, it's a very peaceful place. And so these are cousins. These Maldons over here, I believe, these are George's children, and he is married. Well, he's not married. He's buried in another state, and his daughter Anna, that was shot in the back, is buried right here beside Elizabeth Maldon. So we'll get some more stories together for you. I hope you enjoy, and thanks for watching.